Hey, Kristen Levanway here in Phoenix, sitting outside now that the rain's finally stopped. I was looking on the internet, I was looking at a couple snippets from MSNBC, a couple of interviews they had done recently regarding loan modifications. And it was interesting because it was both sides of the coin. They had John Corson, who's the CEO of the Mortgage Bankers Association, who was saying, the program would be doing better if the borrowers would just cooperate and send in their paperwork. And they had Michael Barr from the U.S. Treasury saying the program is making enormous progress. On the other hand, you had Jean Chatzky and Barbara Krikorian, who are consumer-related reporters from, and they kind of gave the perspective of the consumer who's trying to get the loan modification and who's frustrated because they're just not working, and kind of pointed out some of the downsides of the programs, in particular the fact that it addresses interest reduction and not principal reduction. So homeowners who are upside down on their properties, even if they do get one of these, these loan modifications that are really hard to get, obviously the numbers bear out on that fact, does it really help them? And then finally, there was an interview with Jason Tucker, who's been trying for 10 months to work with his bank on a loan modification. So on the one hand, he's calling his bank, he's working with them trying to get a loan mod, and on the other, his house is scheduled for trustee sale, and he's kind of caught in the middle for almost a year now. So it kind of brings to home to the point that I'm seeing is that these loan modifications, they're just not working. They're supposedly going to help 3 million homeowners. 750,000 homeowners have qualified for the trial period payments, but only 31,000 of those modifications have gone permanent. And everyone's trying to figure out why. Well, I'll tell you why. People are frustrated. They're not only just dealing with their house payment, they're in a financial situation that's made it difficult for them to make their house payment, but that's a symptom of a bigger problem. So on top of all those problems, now they're trying to deal with a bank who, is not cooperating. You're spending hours on the phone, you're sending in paperwork that gets lost, and the time is stretching. You don't know what's going on. And at some point, either the buyer is notified that their loan modification is denied, even after they've followed all the rules, they've made their trial period payments, they get, instead of the final paperwork, they get a denial letter, or they just give up. So what happens, I think, is homeowners in general, most people want to do the right thing, and they're doing what's being told to them. Hey, call your bank, work with them, see what they'll do. The banks are saying, we'll help you, and they're getting a glimmer of hope that maybe things will get better. But after a while, they get frustrated, and then they finally just give up hope, and they stop saying, well, what's the right thing to do? And they start saying, well, what's the right thing to do for my family? And they start to realize that in a lot of cases, their home is a toxic asset. Where have we heard that term before? But if you're upside down in your house and you've got all this equity loss, you're $100,000, $200,000 upside down in your house, what's the point in fighting with the bank on this? At some point, they just say, you know what, I gotta have a life here, I got other problems to deal with, and they just say, bank, take back my house. So I think that when John Krikorian says, what the problem is that the homeowners are just not giving us their paperwork on time, or Michael Barr from the U.S. Treasury says we're making enormous progress and we're helping so many people, it just demonstrates the fact that they're kind of out of touch with what's really happening with Joe homeowner out here in the real world. And until that changes, these programs are not going to really do any good at all. So I love to hear your thoughts on this. Shoot me an email or send me a comment below. You can reach me at Kristen@hereinphoenix.com. Love to hear from you. Make it a great day.